إذا الصوت عالي كتير تعملي تعديل شوي معلش. لو سمحت نص. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك، أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. اللهم اجعل هذا الجمع جمعا مرحوما والتفرق بعده تفرقا معصوما، ولا تدع فينا شقيا ولا محروما. اللهم آمين. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to him, and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Now, second part of chapter Aal Imran, Surah Aal Imran. In the main order in the Quran is chapter number 3 in terms of the length and the number of verses, number 2. Chapter Aal Imran, last time we started and we said that it is Madaniya, and we highlighted what's the difference between Mekki and Madani, before immigration, after immigration. It's not related necessarily with the location of Al-Madinah or the location of Mecca. I think the first 13 years, what has been revealed called Mekki. Last 10 years, it's called Madani. Okay? And we talked about some of the names. We thought about one of the main objectives and themes of the surah. On top, we mentioned monotheism, justice, prophethood, and afterlife. The chapter revolves around these big issues, which is monotheism, the true monotheism, which means oneness of Allah, which means technically, practically, to obey none but Allah, not just to believe theoretically that Allah is one. Be careful. Monotheism is not just believe that Allah is one. This is part. The full version is to obey none but Allah. Technically, your life should be according to His commandments. This is the true monotheism. Or otherwise, most of the people can be believers. If it's just a philosophy or a feelings, no. So it revolves around justice, monotheism, prophethood, and afterlife. And it is one of the longest chapters in arguing and debating with Christians. It contains tens of verses talking about what Christians believe, refuting from our point of view what they believe, why, when, how. We have tens of verses about this. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. And one of the greatest, let's say, objectives and main themes, that it shows a number of role models from the people of greatness, the family of Aal Imran, Zakaria, Maryam, Isa alayhi salam. You know, it highlights part of this great people from the families. And Maryam, Mary, peace be upon her, she's not a prophet. She's not a prophet, but she's a pious woman. Imra'a salihah. She's a mother of a prophet. It highlights. This is from the great people that Allah praised. Maryam ibnat Imran. She's the mother of Jesus Christ. How she responded, what did she say, how she accepted the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when Allah ordained that this miracle will happen with her, how was her reaction, and it highlights. So great people, Zakaria, Imran, Aal Imran, Maryam, Isa alayhi salam. So one of the main themes and objectives. So today inshallah, and we started with the first last time with Alif Lam Mim, and we talked about what we and I highlighted last time as well the concept of the name of the chapters. They are tawqifi, which means the decision of the title of the name is not something was an option that they decided to choose. No, it's by the will of Allah through Jibreel alayhi salam. However, we have many verses, they have another names depending on the content or the core point of it. Some people, for example, chapter Al-Isra, Surah Al-Isra, the official title Isra. Some scholars, they call it Surah Bani Israel. The chapter of, it's not the name of chapter Bani Israel, because this chapter discussing, highlighting a very critical point has to do with children of Israel. Some ulama, they call it chapter of Bani Israel, but the official title by Allah is what? Surah Al-Isra. So sometimes, or for example, if we said, for example, Surah Aal Imran, it's the official name, Tawqifi. If we started when studying, subhanallah, and I benefited that it helped me how to debate with Christians. Maybe I will call it the chapter of debate with Christians. No problem. It's between us, we use it, but it's not the official name of the surah. طيب. اللهم صل على سيدنا Muhammad. And the last thing, I think we said that be careful that we have two different orders. We have the order of revelation and we have the order of the Mus'haf. Now, Quran was revealed on a span of a time in 23 years. So for example, the first 5 ayats received by Muhammad from Jibreel alayhi salam was اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. But the first 5 ayats was revealed in the night when he became afraid and he went to Khadija radiallahu anha. طيب. In the order of the Quran as a book, it's in chapter 30. So that's why we have something called the order, tartib and nuzul, the order of revelation. This is number 1. And the order of the book itself, by the commandment of Allah. It's not by Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Be careful. Yani, Jibreel used, for example, some ayat from chapter Al-Anfal, Surah At-Tawbah, whatever, any surah. For example, 5 ayat about specific incident. Jibreel will come with another ayat to say, Ya Muhammad, put this and this and this ayat before the paragraph which talks about Tawbat Ka'b bin Malik wa Sahibai after that. So this will precede this. Then Prophet Muhammad ﷺ will tell them and will start reciting them as the final order until the year 10 when everything was revealed in the order. And Prophet Muhammad ﷺ used to do according to Al-Bukhari, used محمد كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يتدارس أو يراجع القرآن مع جبريل في رمضان مرة كل عام. قال وتدارسه ورجعه مرتين في العام الذي قبض فيه. By the way, Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم was a student sitting with who? With Jibreel. Jibreel was the master, the teacher of Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم. And by the way, Jibreel, he is Amin al-Wahi. To our knowledge, he is the one who was entrusted by Allah and was given the honor of giving the revelation to all prophets and messengers since Adam alayhi salam up to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Jibreel was the teacher of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the student now, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, with the teacher Jibreel alayhi salam, used to do what? Review every year in Ramadan, which we are approaching in a few days, inshallah. Review what? He used to read what they have received from the Quran in the order as Jibreel commanded him once a year, everything that he reached to. Up the year that he was deceased and he passed away, he did it twice in Ramadan. So it's good just to be aware about the tartib al-nuzul wa tartib al-mushaf, we call it. Then we started, I think, we finished with alif lam mim. ذلك alif lam mim. We said this is called al-ahruf al-muqatta'a, the separated letters. The majority of ulama, they say Allahu a'lam muradih. Allah knows what's the meaning. We don't know. Then I highlighted, if you remember, what we call, there's difference between al-ma'na and al-wazifa. Maybe there is no direct meaning for alif lam mim. However, alif lam mim has a function, has a role. It plays a big function, as if it is a challenging sign. Hey, Arabs, you don't believe? Okay. These letters, which is alif lam mim, alif lam ra, kaf, ha, ya, ayn, sad, they are the letters of the language that you are proud that you are professional in. Okay, compose something like this. Tfaddal. So it's one of the beautiful meaning of understanding by some of the ulama. Now, second ayah. Allahu la alif, after alif lam mim, Allahu la ilaha illa huwa al-hayyul qayyum. Allah, there is no God worthy of worship except Him, the ever-living, all-sustaining. Al-hayyul qayyum. So this is one of the translations. Sustaining because it can be used as Razzaq. Qayyum, and by the way, be aware, if you want to give tafsir or to be expert in tafsir, keep in your mind the following. English language is very poor against the richness of Arabic words. On top of the Quranic words. Very poor. So sometimes, even if the translator did the translator and he decided to choose a terminology, sometimes you need to add more to the word that has been chosen by the translator. For example, the word al-qayyum, much more than the sustainer. Because al-qayyum, al-qa'im ala al-sha'ni kulli, the one, the caretaker, the provider, the sustainer, the protector, the one who's in charge of everything. If you want to go into details, qayyum, he's in charge of everything. Everything means everything. Everything that could ever come to your mind, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah started this after alif lam mim, Allahu la ilaha illahu, there is no God worthy of worship except Him. The ever living, Allah is reminding us. That's why, by the way, believing in Allah requires you to know the attributes of Allah, because there is no benefit of knowing that Allah is one and He's the creator without knowing other attributes. What does this mean? If I have no knowledge about anything about this God except that He created and that's it. Imagine in theory, I have no idea whatsoever about this God, God forbid, yani, that He is all hearing, all seeing. Okay, why should I count to 10 to say something or not to say something if I don't have any idea whether He can see me or He can do anything for me? If I don't know that He's Al-Qadir, okay? The all-capable, He has the full capacity to do whatever He wants. Al-Qadir, Al-Jabbar, the Almighty, subhanahu wa ta'ala. Al-Basir, He sees everything regardless of the how. I don't know the how, we don't know. We human beings, we have many ways in seeing things. X-ray, direct eye, camera, CCTV cameras. We have many devices we use to see things or to know things or to hear things or to record things. What about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? The point. So Allah, the ever-living, Al-Hayy. One of the things that makes us not to, for example, to give that big, let's say, consideration for human beings because of their weakness. Imagine, in theory, if you are afraid of someone, because he is powerful, he's very rich, or he's a police officer, or he's a high-ranked officer in the intelligence forces, and you know that he could easily hurt you because of his connections, or his authority, or his power. Does this happen with the people or not? Right. If you hear that this person has been put in jail, and he might face a capital punishment. He's in jail now, and everyone is against him. Just last night, I was counting to 10 before doing things, so I was afraid of him. Now he's in jail. Do you think I will stay scared from him? Khalas, he's nothing now. He's helpless. This is applicable on any one of us. You are afraid of me, I could die at any moment. Khalas, I'm finished.
Just like yesterday. It's okay. It's okay.
في مشكلة؟ I don't feel. Do you want to change anything? No. Okay. Sorry, what I was saying? I forget. If I passed away, خلاص, you will not waste any time to think about me. طيب, part of our weakness, and therefore You can deceive me, you can cheat me, you can escape from me, I can escape from you. Because at the end, you are just what? A weak, limited creature. So therefore, once I have equal power, I will challenge you. More power, I will finish you. Why not? Question why? You are threatening me. I'm weak, you are old. Now the equation is keep opposite. I had some kind of support, you became weak. I will take revenge, delete you from my way, and will continue. Why not? This is impossible to be applicable in Allah. This is the meaning that we need. It's part of that. Subhanallah, al-hayy la yamut. Any one of us yamut. Any one of us dies. Qayyum, he's in charge of everything. So he's giving us part of his 99 attributes by his wisdom. Allah la ilaha illa Allah. There is no God worthy of worship except him, the ever living, all sustaining. Add to the meaning. نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل. He, as I told you by the way, chapter Al-Baqarah which we finished, it has more core points about debating with the children of Israel. Aal Imran, it has more core in debating with Christians. However, both chapters, they have something about the others, because Jews and Christians, they share a lot of things versus Muslims. We do share things, we disagree, we agree, but we have common things, and they are from the most addressed groups in the Quran because we do share a background. We believe in the prophets and messengers who were sent to them, and we believe that their original book, the Torah and the Injil, they were genuine, true books from Allah. We don't believe in the copy that now we have it, but we believe in the original. So we have this kind of common thing. So Allah is addressing them in many ayat. So Allah says, نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه من التوراة والإنجيل. He has revealed to you, O Prophet, the book in truth, confirming what came before it, as he revealed the Torah and the Gospel. So Allah is specifying now from many books, just the Torah and the Gospel, as if to show you that we have something specific and more common, or because of the influence of Jews and Christians, because it's not just the only two books. Ibrahim alayhi salam received Suhuf Ibrahim, the scripture. And I keep telling you, let me just finish reading this and I will continue. قال, and he revealed the Torah من قبل هدى للناس وأنزل الفرقان إن الذين كفروا بآيات الله لهم عذاب شديد والله عزيز ذو انتقام. Let's read it all together now. He has revealed to you, O Prophet, the book in truth, the book now the Quran, بالحق, in truth. This Quran came with truth, confirming what came before it. This is a continuation and confirmation for what were revealed. قال, as he revealed the Torah and the Gospel or the Injil previously. As a guide, من قبل هدى للناس وأنزل, as a guide for people, and also revealed the decisive authority. Now Allah gave a new title for the Quran. Quran, by the way, be aware, some people, they want to deceive the people. They said, okay, we have different things in the Quran. The Kitab is not the Quran is not the Furqan. This is just, has been done by idiots. This is descriptions for the Quran. Okay? The Quran is called the Kitab. Okay? Because it's a book. And it's called Al-Quran because it is recited. And it's called Al-Furqan, the criterion, the standard, the decisive authority that has the authority to tell you this is right, this is wrong. Judging what? What has been revealed before. Confirming, and has Furqan, has a criterion. It's a very, very accurate messages, because the only three clear left on earth now, and they compete with each other, are Jews, Christians and Muslims from the heavenly religions. Now this is the only three. Did we have something else? Yes, we have no idea about them. How do we know that? وَرُسُلًا لَمْ نَقْصُصْهُمْ عَلَيْكَ. We have told you, all prophets, about messenger and prophets, and others we have not told you about. In another hadith, I maybe repeated it 10 times, He was asked, يا رسول الله ما عدة الأنبياء والرسل؟ قال الأنبياء 124,000. He said the prophets sent by God 124,000 prophets. قال الرسل منهم, the messengers among them, they are 315. The difference between a prophet and a messenger, both of them, they receive revelation to be conveyed to the people. Now the messenger receives a new law or a modified law or an addition, okay? Law, the technical, practical things. But the prophet follows a messenger. Nothing new. Like for example, Musa alayhi salam is a prophet and messenger. Zakaria alayhi salam, prophet. Dawood alayhi salam, prophet. Sulaiman alayhi salam, prophet. Following Musa. So Musa is a prophet and a messenger. Isa alayhi salam, a prophet and messenger. He came with modification and additions. وَلِأُحِلَّ لَكُمْ بَعْضَ الَّذِي حُرِّمَ عَلَيْكُمْ وَلِأَضَعَ عَنْكُمْ إِصْرَكُمْ وَالْأَغْلَالَ الَّتِي كانت عليكم. I was sent to you by my Lord and your Lord so that I can release you from some of the heavy burdens that have been put on your shoulders. So he came with an additions, modifications, deletions or whatever. That's why he's a prophet and messenger. So we have Musa alayhi salam, Isa alayhi salam, both of them are prophet and messenger. Between them, all of them are what? Prophets. So Prophet Muhammad said, Iddatul Anbiya, the number of prophets is 124,000. The messengers 315. We know from them just 25. Type. How many books were revealed? Allah told us about the scripture of Ibrahim. Allah told us about Torah, Injil, but that's it. We have no idea what was revealed. We have no idea. Allah said, وَرُسُلًا لَمْ نَقْصُصْهُمْ عَلَيْكَ. We have not told you about them. But why? No benefit. Allah decided not to tell us. He decided to give us a very, very powerful details about the last two. Judaism and Christianity. Why? Because in reality Allah knows that we, three of us, we are the main three competitors till the day of judgment. And by the way, the real competition on earth is between Jews, Christians and Muslims. Each of them is claiming that he owns the reality. Each of them, I'm speaking in a very scientific way now, okay? Not as a Muslim, I'm speaking from academic point of view. Muslims, Jews and Christians, three of them, they believe they have the truth. Three of them, each group of them, they believe they are the chosen people. True or false? Go to the Jews, what they believe, they are chosen people. We Muslims, do we believe what? Chosen people. Christians, they are the followers of God's incarnate Jesus Christ, the Son of God. And if you don't believe in him, you will not be redeemed. Which means you will go to hell. What's this? They are the chosen people. So we, three of us, we claim the same claim. I'm not discussing who's right, who's wrong now. But three of us, we have this kind of feelings and attitude and a book and numbers and literature, you see, material that we claim that this is. So we, as part of this three, part of what we have, we've been guided how peacefully, how logically, in a wisdom and to argue and to discuss with Jews and Christians, because we have with them common ground. And by the way, one of the good things to know, if you have a debate with a Jew or a Christian, you must be proud to tell them, like, look, you Jews, you don't accept and you don't believe in Christians and Muslims. Christians, they believe in Judaism as part of their history. They don't believe in Islam. For us, we believe in both of them. So the level of respect that we hold is much more higher. For them, if they make fun of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's no problem. For us, can we make fun of Isa? A'udhu billah. Can we say a one bad word against one prophet of the children of Israel? You commit kufr. You leave your Islam. True or false? Even if you have a political problem, even if they attack, imagine there's a Jewish state or a Christian state and the history they attacked Muslims. You can't come and say bad words against their prophets. It's haram, prohibited. You can't. It's not an option. So So you need to be aware of this. We hold something unique, by the way. And one of the great things that, as I told you, that we do use to prove that Muhammad is a prophet, we said it many times, that Muhammad ﷺ, even though he was fought and attacked by the Romans and by Arab Christians in his early, and Tabuk and Mu'tah, yet you find in his book no mention for Fatima, no mention for Aisha, no mention for Quraysh, except in a bad way, except in attacking them. No one from his family is praised. His uncle Abu Lahab is cursed, and Abu Talib is mentioned that don't ask forgiveness for him, while politically his enemy who are attacking him, they are praised in the Quran. How come? Special chapter about Maryam alayhi salam. كافها يا عين صاد ذكر رحمة ربك عبده زكريا إذ نادى ربه نداء خفيا. Wallahi, Maryam alayhi salam, the Virgin Mary, she's praised in the Quran and in Islam 100 times more than she's praised in Christianity. Wallahi, I challenge. So you need to know this. Because in Islam we have something unique. We respect. But however, we do argue and debate, seeking the truth. So this is good to be known and clear in our context when we read نزل عليك الكتاب بالحق مصدقا لما بين يديه وأنزل التوراة والإنجيل من قبل هدى للناس وأنزل الفرقان إن الذين كفروا بآيات الله لهم عذاب شديد والله عزيز ذو انتقام. Let's read it again. He has revealed to you, O Prophet, the book in truth, confirming what came before it, as he revealed the Torah and the Gospel previously, as a guide for people, and also revealed the decisive authority, the Furqan. Surely those who reject Allah's revelations will suffer a severe torment, for Allah is Almighty, capable of punishment. Anyone who receives in the time of Musa, time of Isa, time of Muhammad ﷺ, the revelation and the final seed is facing a punishment in the hellfire. This is part of what we believe. Now, Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad. I have a lot of details. Maybe next time I will read it, but I will give you a general idea. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is guiding, challenging, in many cases, Jews and Christians to follow their Torah and their Injil. True or false? Ya ayyuhal, okay? Ya ahl al-kitab, do such and such in many verses. But we believe that it was corrupted. So, what is the answer for that? Now, at the time of the revelation of the Quran, still according to many narrations, they still have some of the remainings of the text of the Torah and the Injil. It was not corrupted completely. Okay? Still they have. For example, now when you come to the what is so-called as a terminology, Torah. Torah is not the Old Testament. Torah is just the 5 chapters of Musa alayhi salam, which is the first 5 chapters of the Old Testament. Okay? It's called the Genesis, the Exodus, the Leviticus, the Numbers. These 5 chapters. When you read chapter 2, 3, 4, 5, you will see it's a narration by someone about the life of Musa alayhi salam. So it's definitely, by the common sense, it's not what Musa alayhi salam received from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a common sense. So it was changed and written by someone else. So you can tell that. But however, for example, Musa said, Allah said to Musa, such and such and such. You can tell, and it goes in parallel. It matches what we have in the Quran. We can guess that this is from the remaining of the Torah. But the book, as a full book, we don't recognize it as Torah. The same thing in Injil. But by the way, Musa alayhi salam, to the best of our knowledge, he was a prophet and messenger for the children of Israel for 40 years. 40. Starting when he received the revelation in Egypt, up to when they went to the exile in Sinai, and then he passed away there in the desert of Sinai. 40 years. He and Harun, both of them, they passed away in that time during the 40 years. Musa alayhi salam. Now, Musa alayhi salam, he received the 10 commandments, which is mentioned in the Quran as al-alwah, the tablets. This contains the 10 commandments, which we know: don't kill, don't lie, don't commit fornication, don't do such as, don't have any kind of, sexual desire to the wife of your neighbor. It's called the 10 commandments. The core, the origin of them, it was received, and we have a confirmation from the Quran that Allah, when Allah took him for the special meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah revealed to him, and it's believed superficially, he received tablets written completely, yes, written from heaven, he was received. Now, the 10 commandments is not the Torah, it's simple part of the Torah. Then he received another, guide, 40 years. Like for us, for example, the Sunnah. 23 years, he was saying, say this, do this, don't do. Now, he received the Torah. We don't have a final 100% knowledge to tell that whether how was the way they wrote it, how did it, but generally it is believed that each tribe, because there were 12 tribes, according to the 12 sons of Jacob, they had at least one copy from the Torah for a long time. Then, after the destruction of Jerusalem by Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian, everything was lost. Everything was lost, and it's a long history. So they started hundreds of years later to, from the memory, recollect what they can remember. That's why we can see, for example, when you read in the Old Testament, you will read something came from the Greek culture. You will read something from the Roman Latin culture. You will read something from Pharaohic Egyptian culture. You will read something from Babylonian Iraqi culture. It's mixed. And you will see something, for sure, it's the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like for example, all children of Israel, don't worship anyone except God your Lord. What's this? Allah ta'budu illallah. Definitely the origin is from the Torah. For example, this is regarding the Torah. Regarding the Injil. No knowledge at all, to the best of my knowledge and my readings, whether Isa alayhi salam, in the 3 years of him as a prophet, that he had a written book. Definitely he received the Injil. The Injil is a book in terms of a piece of knowledge. Like the Quran. Quran was received as a verbal book. Then it was written. Type. Did they record it? We have no information. How did they pass it later? We have no information. We have no information. But Christianity, you need to know the history of Christianity. Christians, from the very beginning, they were oppressed. Oppressed by Jews and Romans. So they were what? Spread in the Roman Empire under pressure. They were not able to meet each other. From year one. Okay, they are believers. They have good intentions. They are like the Sahaba, companions. But no, what? Connections. No gatherings. For many years. They were oppressed. They were hiding their faith. So it is believed because of this, they were the only true believers, by the way. They're exactly like the Sahaba and the companion Prophet Muhammad in the first 3 years of the da'wah. Exactly. But the difference that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, after 3 years, they had the open da'wah. Then 10 years later, they went to Medina. They established a powerful state. They protected their book. They memorized it. They wrote it. They spread it. This is not applicable on Christianity. Yes, they have the Injil, but they did not have the gathering, the power, the connection, the state, the politics at all. They were spread and oppressed. So it is believed, those good, nice people, they kept memorizing some of it. So you can find it somewhere. So I will stop here. One of the interesting academic piece of knowledge that you need to know. SubhanAllah, when I was doing my PhD in the UK in comparative religions, I remember that I came across, it was very interesting. I came across a copy from the New Testament, which contains the Gospel of Mark and John and Luke and Matthew, and they decided to copy it imitating the Quran. Like for example, in the Quran, we have many previous copies, they write, for example, the word Allah in red. Okay? Or any names of Allah, such as Ar-Rahman or Ar-Rahim. So when you open the book, you will keep saying red, because Allah, Ar-Rahman, Ar-Rahim, Al-Hayy, Al-Qayyum, it's mentioned hundreds of times. Not tens, hundreds of times. Read any page from the Quran, it's nearly impossible that Allah is not mentioned. So they decided to do a copy from the Old New Testament, highlighting in red the quotations that was said literally by Jesus Christ. Do you know what was the percentage of the material that was attributed literally to Jesus Christ in the New Testament? Give a guess. 2%. 2%. But what's the rest? Opinions of something else. Now, number one real person in terms of authenticity and power and influence in Christianity is Saint Paul, Bolos, or Shaul. Saint Paul, if I'm not mistaken, what is attributed to him in the New Testament between 82 to 85%. Now, the interesting thing that Saint Paul was not from the disciples, and he did not sit with the disciples, and he did not meet Jesus Christ. Now, Christianity is fully dependable on Saint Paul. So, in the academia, it's good to know when you discuss and debate, so that you can realize what does it mean, what we know, the change of narrators and ilm al-rijal, and how we receive the books and the hadith and the Quran and the hifz, okay? The protection and the care and the memorizing of the Quran and the Sunnah, which is really, really phenomenal miracle. For example, now we, especially those who were born Muslims, like for example, Pakistan, I remember 25 years in Pakistan at that time. Pakistan's population, 25 years, I think it was either 80 or 120 million, I forget, at that time. 12 million of them, they memorized the Quran. 12 million memorized the Quran. 25 years from now, Libya was 5 millions. 20% of them, they memorized the Quran. 1 million Libyans, they memorized the Quran. In Jordan, we are very small. In Jordan, I know just the last 25 years, one society called جميع المحافظة القرآن الكريم, they managed to graduate 10,000 حافظ for the Quran. طيب, why I'm mentioning this? Can you imagine that at least, if we gather Chinese Muslims with Indonesian Muslims, with Indian Muslims, Bengali Muslims, Pakistani Muslims, African Muslims, Arab Muslims, estimate out of 2 billions, we are 2 billions, maybe, at least, we have 100 million hafid for the Quran, 100 million. Hafid means what? If you open a Zoom now, and you put 10,000 of them randomly, a Muslim from Brazil, a Muslim from Sao Paulo, a Muslim from Sarajevo, a Muslim from San Diego, San Jose, from New York, from Indonesia, from Jakarta, just randomly. Okay, you 10,000, 3, 2, 1, read the Fatiha. 10,000 of them will say what? Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Okay, not even Ash-Shukru Lillah, no. But not even, no, exactly the same word. Maliki yawmiddin, Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. طيب, read the last chapter, all of you. قل أعوذ برب الناس, ملك الناس, إله الناس. طب the one before, قل أعوذ برب الفلق, من شر. طب the one before, قل هو الله أحد, الله الصمد. طب the last juzu, starting with عما يتساءلون عن, exactly the same sound, the same word, the same in Arabic. What's this? Now, what is more miraculous, you know what? The non-Arabs, when they memorize the Quran and they don't understand Arabic, they don't speak Arabic. And the biggest phenomena on earth is in Pakistan, in this. In Pakistan, you have millions who don't speak Arabic. They don't know Arabic. Wallahi, not even a single sentence in Arabic. And they memorize the Quran. And if he leads the prayer, you think that he's a Sudais or al-Afasi. When you look at him and say, كيف حالك يا أخي? You say, Assalamu alaikum. What? No Arabic. No Arabic. But he memorized the Quran. What's this? How come? No explanation, by the way. Wallahi. To know how this is, we don't feel how great it is because it's part of our culture. To know it, imagine the following. And let me, and just finish by this. Imagine, now, is there anyone who speaks French fluently in this room? Fluently, as if a native speaker. في? طيب. None of us speaks French, including myself. I know nothing about French except I think bonjour. I think bonjour. And I think excuse-moi. Just 2 words, wallahi. The only, and see. What's see? ما بعرف, but I think it's a word. See Spanish. Okay. So 2 words. Which means I'm 0 in French. If I memorized a French literature book of 600 pages, literally 600 pages, 94,000 words by heart, and I can say them and I don't speak French. I don't know French, but I memorized the book and I can repeat it anytime fluently. What's this? You say, oh, we will meet this child in the TVs, the miracle. على ايش يا حبيبي? It's just a French book. طب come to the Quran. We have millions who do this. So it's good to know this. Still, we are just heating. We have not started yet. We are just in the introduction, by the way, okay? Introduction, preparing to do this kind of comparison, between these ways of thinking. Wallahu alam. I will stop now. Jazakumullah khair. See you after Ramadan. We will announce after the Eid, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.